everybody? Your boy Titan here with my man Docs. Today is our first. Oh, am I muted? Hold on. No, I can't hear you. Alright, I'm here with my man Docs for our first episode of Motivational Monday. So, Docs, if you would like to go ahead and introduce yourself, tell us a little bit about yourself.
Yeah. Like the man said, I'm Dr. Ryan. I am how can I put this? I'm a multifaceted, multi-talented individual. I do streaming, I do voice work, I do narration, I do writing, I do audio engineering. I work full time. I'm a dad. I do so much shit. It's not even. There's too much to name, man. But I haven't been streaming a whole lot lately because I'm adjusting to a new situation. But I plan on getting back to it soon. But my primary thing right now is I work full time taking care of people who can't take care of themselves, and then I got all my side hustles on the side. So that's pretty much. I mean, that's me I guess in a nutshell.
Nutshell, yeah.
Nutshell.
So I guess the only question I'll have to start before we get into everything, is how would you define motivation?
How would I define motivation?
Yeah, like what would your definition of motivation be? Like how do you look at motivation?
Well, motivation to me is one of those things that's it's an essential. I've been thinking about this since you talked about bringing me onto the show. Um, Motivation to me is the willingness and the ability to get after something, right? So if you have the willingness and the drive to go get after it, that's motivation. The problem for me is motivation is a blanket term for a
Yeah,
lot of things.
yeah,
I've been thinking about it. So you can have different types of motivation.
exactly.
And I was thinking about it when you brought it up. I was like, how could I frame motivation in the way that I want to frame it? So when you talk motivation, you also got to talk in context to motivation. Like, how are you motivated? What are you made it motivated for? And what area is your motivation? So
Yeah,
like you've got like your fitness motivation, your professional motivation, you have your creative motivation, you have your romantic motivation. All these things, motivation is such a multifaceted concept
yep,
that you can feel motivated in different areas, and motivation in those areas could look differently for each different area.
yeah.
So when you say how do you define motivation, the broad definition of motivation to me is just a willingness and drive to get after it, whatever it is.
Yeah, exactly. And I think that's why I chose to do this is because of all those examples you just gave. Because I feel like different people have different motivations. Not everybody's gonna come on and talk about their love motivation. Not everybody's gonna come on and talk about their gym motivation. They're gonna talk about their struggles in life. Some are gonna talk about gym, things like that. So I feel like getting all these different points of view is actually gonna help a lot of people in the long run. Because someone could be struggling with trying to find motivation for each separate individual thing.
No, I 100% agree. And like I said, when you pitched me the idea, I was like, I started to think about it because initially I didn't think about motivation as like as a holistic perspective.
Hmm.
I was like, oh, gym rat stuff, right?
Yeah,
And then I started thinking about it, and I'm like, there's more to it. And then I came up with that sort of the descriptors. Like, your motivation varies in the area that you're currently moving through,
yep,
whatever you're moving through, whether it's your professional life or your personal life or your fitness life or whatever. You're gonna have different levels of that motivation, and motivation's gonna look different. So being being able to talk about motivation from a holistic standpoint, I think is something that we definitely need to look at
yeah,
because, like you said, when you talked about doing this, you're like, oh, maybe somebody might need to hear it to see that, like, oh yeah, maybe I never thought of it that way. So I
yeah.
definitely agree with your point there.
Or they can even use just like hearing someone struggling through the same thing and what motivates them could also, they could start thinking it that way too. Oh, that's a good way to put it. I could use that as my motivation to get through something, things like that too.
Yeah, when you talk about struggle, motivation and inspiration kind of go hand in hand,
Yep.
right? So like recently, and I'm not going to go into details because I don't want people to talk or whatever, but
Yeah, yeah.
this 2023 for me has been the worst year of my life. Okay. So let me give y'all in chat and you a brief recap for those of you that don't know. Um, 2023, I lost everything. I became homeless. I lost my 11-year relationship with a woman I love. I lost 2 kids I spent 11 years raising. I lost my dog in January. This all happened in January. And then 2 month 2 months later in March, my dad passed away. So for the last 7 months, I've been just getting kicked in the dick by everything, right? Homelessness, single, dad dies, lost your dog, right? Kids going away. So, and I'm not a saint. I played a part, right? I pulled away. I didn't fight as much as I would for certain things because of trauma and abuse and things like that, right? I'm not,
Yeah.
like I said, I don't wanna spin it to where I was like, oh, I was the victim. And in a lot of ways I was, but I also contributed to things falling apart, right? In
Yeah.
the relationship front. But like I say like a lot because my brain needs to keep up with my
No,
mouth.
yeah, you're good.
But when I think about 2023, it is the third time I've had to rebuild my life. So I was married uh 12, 13 years ago. I got married, had kids, got ferrets, had the whole like got the good job, wife was going to school, all that. Bam, that gets
Yeah.
pulled out from underneath me, right? I'm homeless, suicidal, drinking, the only thing that saved me from that was my kids, right? One night I got so low, I was like, fuck it, no one's gonna notice that I'm gone. The next morning, my kids get dropped off, and I was like, there's the motivation to push through.
Yeah.
I was like, my kids were little at the time. My son, my youngest was 3.5. My oldest was like 8 or 9 at the time. And I had a job, and I was living in my mom's basement. No shot at anybody. Like, first time I had to rebuild my life, I lost everything,
Yeah.
right? And I was at a low point, drinking a lot, losing myself into my sorrows. And then my kids showed up and they were like, "Dad, let's go get Chipotle." And we went to the movies and I did dad stuff. So like the motivation to push through that was like the initial motivation was you got to live for them, right? They
Yeah.
need you. And then as I got to that, I was making money and I was getting back in shape. So the motivation was like, fuck my ex-wife, right? Like
Yeah.
she's gonna miss me, right? So like I built myself back up, started dating a little bit, started playing the field a little bit, putting the roster together. Bam, find this hot chick, right? Who's like, again, I mean no disrespect, but she was a hot mess express.
Yeah.
She needed help, right? I come on board. I'm one of the only good guys she's ever dated. We form a life together. It's a hard life because there's a lot of ups and downs, but like I was really in love with her and
Yeah.
everything, and I was willing to put it all on the line. And like for 11 years it was like this, right? It was just up and down. There was a lot of trauma and abuse going on that we had to work through with stuff, and there was a lot of stuff that she had to work through, a lot of stuff I had to work through. And then fast forward a couple years, we move out here to the coast. It's not the reset, it's not the fresh restart that we want and need. Dominoes start to fall, things start to turn sour. I try to be like, hey, how can I fix it? She's like, fuck it, I'm not worried about it. Things get further and further apart. And then it's like, we have a falling out. I tell her how I feel about stuff, and she's like, I just don't love you anymore. I was like, cool, I'm out, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
Go do the second time, round 2, right?
Yeah.
Homeless, lost everything. What's the motivation now? My 2 sons, 21-year-old and a 16-year-old. They're like, Dad, we saw what you did. You did all this stuff for them. You worked your tail off. You helped them. They helped you. Because my boys are even keeled. They're like, you made some mistakes. They made some mistakes. It is what it is.
Yeah.
And it's like my ex-wife, who I'm really good friends with, we're back. Previously, I was like, fuck that bitch.
Yeah.
We're like besties now.
Yeah. It's usually
Even
how it
before
goes.
even before I got homeless, right? When I was with my current ex,
Yeah.
My ex-wife and I, we all got real close. We all moved out to the coast together. My life falls apart. She's like, "Hey, you don't got to be on the streets, but you ain't. We ain't. I got a couch that you crash
Yeah,
on the couch, but you handle your business." So I end up having to restart my life again for the third time. First time I had to restart my life is my mom kicked me out at 19. We got in a huge fight. Damn near beat my stepdad to death. Didn't throw hands with him. Could have.
yeah,
He put hands on me and I just locked him up, jiu-jitsu style, choked the fuck out of him. Only reason I didn't rip his shit off was my niece, who was little at the time, came in the room and was like, "Grandpa!" I was like,
yeah.
"Fuck!" It's like I can't break this man like I want to. So that motivation, become an adult, fuck
Yeah,
your mom, all that. Life one falls apart. Get married. Life two falls apart. Rebuild. Life three falls apart. Here I am on a couch, my ex-wife. So the motivation now, what's the motivation now where I'm at? Dad's dead, dog's gone. My motivation now is, for the first time in my life, I I get to focus on me. So like the last, as a kid, I never got to be a kid. I'm
yeah,
the oldest. My mom was, she's bipolar, manic depressive, got a lot of mental health. She was a single mom a lot of my life. So I was before anybody gets weird about this, I used to say I'm my mom's boyfriend, but I was the show model,
yeah,
not the bedroom model. So like my mom would rely on me, we'd go out and she'd be like, "Oh, this is my son." And she'd rely on me when she'd have breakdowns.
yeah,
She'd wake me up at 2, 3 in the morning, watch movies with her. I got to go to school. So I had to help raise my brothers and sisters and get them to school and take care of them. So from the time I was young, I never got to be me,
yeah,
right? It was always Ricky, the oldest son, or Ricky, the husband, or Doc's the boyfriend, Doc's the stepdad, whatever, whatever. Now at 44, what? What? Hold on, I need a minute. Um, now at 44, I have the opportunity to figure out who I am for the
yeah,
first time in my life, right? So I'm 7 months out from that relationship. I'm 7 months out. I'm now in my own spot. I got a job that I don't like, but the company and my coworkers are the shit. Like
yeah.
my birthday as PTO, bro.
There you
Like
go.
I could take PTO whenever I want and call it my birthday.
Yeah,
I got sick leave. I'm making like $20 an hour,
there you go.
which is really good for out here.
Yeah,
I got an apartment. I have a 160 square foot bedroom in a shared quad.
yeah,
I pay $700, everything included.
there you go.
I make $2,200 a month,
Nice.
so I can do whatever the fuck I want, right?
Yeah,
So I'm financially better off than I've ever been. I'm For the first time I can focus on me, actually me, figure out who the hell I am,
yeah,
unscramble this brain and everything that I've taught myself to be for the last 40 years, and really kind of discover that. So to bring it back to motivation, there's so much motivation that I have in the personal life. And so like I want to be better for me and my sons. Um I want to be the best version of me I've ever been.
hmm,
But and that's like up here. That's like way up here, right? But then when you talk about romantic motivation, I don't got none.
yeah,
I don't I don't I don't want I don't want anybody anymore. I don't want to be in a relationship. I don't want to get hurt again.
yeah.
I don't
That,
want to go through the hoops and the bullshit. So like my romantic motivation is like
yeah.
nothing, right?
Yeah, that just comes with the territory. That was me after I broke up with Dark. I mean, I was out for. I didn't even care to talk to anybody. I didn't care to look at anything. Like just years straight, it was just me in the gym. That was my
I know, but
girlfriend.
I messaged you. I messaged you.
Yeah, that was me and that was my relationship. That was my girlfriend. The gym and the weights was my girlfriend at that time.
Right. No, I get it. And like and then that it also extends to like my creative motivation, right?
Yeah,
I feel so bad cuz like creatively I'm not there, man. Like people have been hitting me up, "Yo, when you going to stream again? We miss you, blah blah blah." And I'm like, "I really should, but man, I go to work, I come home and I'm like I'm
exhausted.
up all night. I don't sleep at night. I'm not exhausted. I'm just like,
Yeah,
who like is anybody going to show up? Who's going to care, right?
yeah,
So I don't And I know people will show up. That's the thing. I know people will show up and people care.
Yeah.
But like creatively, I'm just like, what am I gonna do? The same old shit that I've always done. Jump on, be shitty at some gameplay, show some badass indies that I can beat and play well, but not I'm not like top tier on the
Yeah.
stick. So I'm gonna struggle. People enjoy the struggle bus and the commentary, but it's like, really? I did
Yeah.
that for 5 years. Like I've been streaming for 5 years, and then I'm rebuilding my life, and it's like some days I just got enough motivation to get out of bed and grab a sandwich and go to work. And then other days I'm like, oh, I'm gonna do this, that, and the other thing. But then the motivation kind of peters out. So when you talk motivation, you also have to talk about um, carry through and perseverance. And in some areas, I've got all the perseverance in the world, right? I grind, I go to work, I still feed myself, but like I don't have a lot of carry through with other areas right now. And I don't think there's anything wrong with that.
Yep.
So like if you're listening or whatever, and you're like, oh, I got up and I showered. Good. That's
Did something.
that's enough. That's enough for right now. But I'm also entering this spot where just showering isn't enough.
Yeah.
And I gotta find drive for what the next chapter is, whether it's getting back in the gym. And the gym for me is tricky because I have a chronic pain disease called fibromyalgia. So the way I can easily explain that is fibromyalgia has three major symptoms. You have chronic fatigue, chronic pain, and you don't get restorative sleep. So when you go throughout your day and you're lifting or working, your muscles get what they call micro tears. And when you sleep, the average person, their body repairs those micro tears. With somebody like me who has fibromyalgia, I don't have the restorative sleep. So the micro tears I make on Monday don't heal till Thursday. So I'm always 3 days behind the healing cycle because I don't get the restorative sleep. So if I go rock the gym, because I grew up as a gym rat, I'm a martial artist. I know 12 styles from around the world. I taught martial arts for 21 years. Like I was a bodyguard, a bouncer. Like I know what it's like to be physical.
Yeah.
But in order to really throw weight and grind it out in the gym, I'm looking at 2 days of like not being able to move. I'm looking at a day and a half of just like not being able to feel my arms. And with a job, I can't have those where I could just lay in bed and recover. So I have the motivation to get back to the gym, but I also have the realistic concerns of, can I manage the motivation with the reality of the fallout of that work?
Yeah.
If you catch what I'm saying,
Yeah,
if you
I
know
get
what
it.
I'm saying.
Yeah. Because I mean, I don't have fibromyalgia, but there's days where like I'll hit the gym on Monday and my chest still hurts by Tuesday, or like Wednesday is when they usually start to hurt. So I mean, I get that, because then you don't have the ambition to want to do it because your body's still sore.
Mhm. Yeah. So when you talk motivation, motivation, like everything in life, is such a multifaceted concept, right?
Yeah.
Because you can't have motivation without ambition, and you can't have motivation without determination, and you can't have motivation without drive to do it. So the 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 real thing is, can you find that balance from everything to get the recipe right, right? Can you have the motivation? Can you have the drive? Can you have the determination and the perseverance? And when those click, and in whatever area you're looking for that motivation, be it creative, romantic, physical, professional, personal, whatever, when you can bring all that together, that's when you're gonna make the most work. That's when you're gonna make the most gains, the most things. But then motivation, like everything, like passion in life, like interest, is gonna ebb and flow. So I think a big part of motivation is learning to manage that motivation, the ups and the downs with it. And if you can do that, and you can have more even keel,
Yeah.
maybe not like the real high, like the real like crush it, but also not the real like, oh my, I'm a sad sack emo boy, whatever. I think that's when you'll have your most success. And I think if you, the more you can maintain that balance much like anything in life, the more you can maintain that balance, the better off you're going to be with everything. In,
Yeah.
in general, for me anyway.
Yeah. I think the biggest thing too is everybody tries to start everything in bunches rather than taking it one step at a time. Especially like, I tell people all the time, they're like, how did you start going to the gym? I was like, well, I mean, at work I started in one department where I literally stood around and did nothing all day and I was eating more than I was doing anything. And then I switched to another department where I'm doing 9, 10 miles a day. So that was my small step into getting to where I wanted to be. And then even diet wise, you don't have to eat everything good at once. Start small, start with breakfast, and then work your way through eating a little bit healthier every time you switch up your lunch, switch up your dinner, switch up things like that. And I think that's the biggest thing I could tell people is you don't have to do everything and like everything at once. Take one small step and work with it that way. Even if it's going outside and walking for 10 minutes, even if it's just taking a step back to work on yourself like you said, like you're doing right now. The most important thing you want to do is take care of you. The only person stopping you is you from working on you. You know what I mean? Like, there's nothing more important than keeping you safe, keeping you healthy, because at the end of the day, it's all about you.
Yeah, I definitely see. I would definitely say I've struggled with the thing of like doing everything in bunches, because like when when I go through a reset, I'm like, I'm gonna do this, I'm gonna do this, I'm gonna do
Yeah,
this, I'm gonna do this, right? And you go in it with the best of intentions, and you go like 110%, and like 2 weeks, a month in, you start to peter off, and you're like,
yeah,
oh my god, the mountain is so huge. But I think like you said, if you have the mentality of like stepping back and saying, okay, I don't need to hit the gym, get the new job, get the hot girlfriend, boyfriend,
yeah,
get
etc.
the hot person, whatever, get the fast car, or the big truck, or the house on the whatever the dream is. If you don't just like launch yourself into it, you won't be overwhelmed in it, so you'll be able to stay the course better. So I love the way you said, just start small, one thing at a time,
Yep.
and then learn to get the gratification of those small things. Right? We're so used to being, I want it now. Like, we're in such an instant gratification culture now. And
Yeah.
I hate to be the gray haired old guy who's like, back in my day, you had to wait for shit.
Yep.
But like nowadays with social media and like on demand and Uber and everything, like we can get it now.
Yeah.
And a lot of times that skews
Motivation.
our motivation and our drive, because we're like, oh, I didn't get it right now. Well, yeah, because you got to fucking work for it.
Yep.
Think about when you were a kid, you just didn't get up and throw 165-pound reps.
Yeah.
You started lifting your cereal bowl, right? You
Yep.
you got to walk before you run. You got to learn to say dad, mama before you say bitch, whatever.
Yeah.
You
Yep.
know? So learning to take it a little bit at a time and focus on yourself is a lesson that I'm having to learn
Yep.
personally, and I'm still learning it. Like my kids tell me all the time, Dad, you're doing great, right? You got the apartment, right? You got the job, right? Now you can, I got new clothes, I got a new necklace, I got a new watch, little parts to reinvent myself
Yeah.
so that I feel good about me. And you said it's all about you. And a lot of people are going to be like, "Oh, that sounds selfish, whatever." And the now where I am learning, you do have to be a little bit selfish, right? There's a difference between being selfish in a healthy way
Yep.
and being selfish in a narcissistic way. And being selfish in a healthy way is checking in with yourself. Hey, do I need to shower? Do I need to rest? Do I need to go to the gym? Do I need to lose 5 pounds? And start small. 5 pounds.
5 pounds is
It's
a
a
lot.
lot.
5 pounds
It's
is
a
a lot.
lot. It's a lot, but it's a little in the long run,
Yep.
right? So like me right now, I'm walking around at 205.
Mm-hmm.
Not bad. I'm
No.
thicker than a Snickers. I'm built like a brick shithouse though. My
Yeah.
body fat content is 26%.
Yeah.
So I'm 205 with a 26 body fat, which is really goddamn good.
Yeah.
But ultimately, I want to get down to 170, 185. I'm not gonna make 155 at 45. Nah, God no. Even though I'm like 5'7" and it's like you should be 155. If I could hit 185,
Yeah. That's
and
exactly.
when I hit 180, when I hit 185, you girl, watch out. Watch out.
Yeah.
But in order to get 185, I gotta get to 200. Then I gotta get to 195.
Yep.
Then I gotta get to 190. And I gotta have the mental focus and discipline to not be like, oh, I'm not 185 by summer. Fuck it.
Yeah.
Go eat like 4 burritos and a milkshake. You know what
Yeah.
I mean?
Yeah. Definitely.
But you were gonna say something. I didn't want to cut you off.
Uh, I don't remember. But that's what I tell everybody. That's what, exactly. And that's, I was gonna. Oh yeah, because you said you were 5'7". I was like, I'm around that too. And I was doing those one of those stupid TikTok things where you could check like, oh, 23-day workout plan or whatever. So it had me like put in all my information, and I put that I was 165, and they're like, you're overweight. I was like, no, I'm not.
No, I'm not.
I don't know who you're talking to. I'm not overweight. I feel like that's average for me. But yeah, even definitely 5. Everybody's like, and that's I think that's another big problem is everybody thinks that one workout's gonna change everything. I feel like a lot of
Right.
people step on the scale each and every day just to see, oh, did I lose weight? And then they'll go on the scale the next day and be like, oh, I gained a pound. Now they're gonna lose that motivation. The biggest thing I tell people is don't go by the scale, go by progression. Take a picture at the start of take a picture. 3 months later, take another picture. 3 months later, take another picture. The scale is gonna tell you something completely different than what your progress is actually looking like.
Oh, 100% the scale. When you talk fitness, I used to be a personal trainer on top of many other shit. I used to be a nanny, a DJ, a bouncer, a bodyguard. I was a cook.
Like Nanny
Um,
McPhee.
oh, dude, me and Nanny McPhee's gangsters. Me, Mary Poppins, and Nanny McPhee, boy, you don't want none of that smoke. We'll hit you with the umbrella, the carpet bag, and these guns, boy. But no, like when I worked as a personal trainer and an athletics coordinator for the when I lived back in Wisconsin, we have the YMCA
Mhm.
and the YWCA, so the Youth Women's Christian Alliance and Youth Men's Christian Alliance.
Yeah.
They were Christian back, but they weren't like super religious about their shit. But I ran the athletics department for the YWCA for about a year, and I was also the personal trainer because they couldn't afford anybody.
Yeah.
So I was like, oh, I got to make this summer camp, and then I got to go teach everybody how to lift weights. And so many times I would have, and this is for women in particular because it was the YW.
Yeah.
So it catered to women. And one of the first things I did, this was controversial as shit, by the way. I got rid of the scales. I took the scales out. I was like, put these in the closet.
Yep.
And the CEO and the director's like, you can't do that. I'm like, why not? She's like, well, they're not gonna know what they're doing. I'm like, and I spun it like this. I said, okay, let's do an experiment right here, right now. I say, each one of you women step on the scale. And they're like, no, I don't want to step on the scale. Why not? Well, I'm not trying to lose weight. I'm not, no. You don't want to step on the scale because you don't want to see where you're at. So imagine if you're on a fitness journey and you have been grinding for 2-3 weeks and you step on the scale and you ain't lost nothing or you gained, you're not going to come back to the gym. You're going to be like, fuck this shit. It's bull. So I think the scale is the worst enemy in the fitness and even in your mental health. Because if you step on the scale and you see that you're overweight or you think you're overweight or somebody tells you you're overweight and you step on the scale, you're going to instantly get a negative headspace.
Yeah.
So like you said, the progression is a great way, but another great way to monitor your progress, if you got to buy new clothes.
Yep.
If your clothes don't fit because they're falling off your ass, you're obviously making progress. You don't need the scale to tell you that.
Yep. Yeah, and like Chris said, people don't realize Chris said people don't realize for a long time it won't feel like you're losing anything, then you'll lose it all at once. He started losing weight for about 2 months. I was losing a couple pounds, and then over a course of a week, I dropped by 14. That's all the water weight and everything else just happened. Yeah, exactly. And that's another thing. Is like people think, if you don't lose weight from day to day, you're not making progress. People got to understand that, fat weighs more than muscle. So if you're putting on, or does muscle weigh more than fat? I thought muscle
weighs more than fat.
Muscle weighs more than fat. So it might look like you're gaining weight, but it's good weight that you're putting on. You're not putting back fat. You're putting back muscle. You're turning those into, what you want it to be. You're rounding out your chest. You're toning your arms. You're getting bigger legs. You're getting a bigger butt. Like, you're losing your gut. Like, I've been sitting at 165 for the last 3 months now. Am I complaining? No, because I know that my arm, like, my chest is getting more round. My stomach's getting smaller. My legs are getting a little bit bigger. I'm doing all the right steps. but the scale is still saying I'm at the same weight because I'm doing everything right, but I'm putting on the right amount of, I'm putting on the right weight rather than the wrong weight.
Yeah, you said something really, really great in there. You said good weight, right? Um, fat weighs less than muscle.
Yeah.
So for a long time, and even now, you don't know that there's good weight and bad weight, right? There's this stigma of, oh, you're fat, right? Or you're muscular. No one talks about good weight versus bad weight, where muscle weight is good weight.
Yep.
So yeah, you may be like, for me, like I'm 205, and like I said, my body fat is like 25. I bounce between 23 and 26% body fat. So even though I'm 205, 75% of that weight is muscle, bone, water.
Yeah, exactly.
Right? It's healthy weight. So in order to see progress and success, especially in fitness and weight, when you talk about that, you have to reorientate your brain to look at good weight, healthy weight, because for so long we didn't talk about healthy weight. We didn't talk about good weight. We always talk about fat and obesity and oh, you're unhealthy. Maybe you're 205 and 18% body fat.
Yeah.
And you got a 5'7" frame. That's not bad weight. That's power lifter stuff. Like you can, like, look at your world's strongest man. Those dudes are huge.
Yeah.
And they got guts because they carry so much muscle. They're good weight. They're like, look at Eddie Hall. Dude's was what, 3
something, yeah.
3 something, and the dude deadlifted 1,500 pounds.
Yeah.
You can't do that at 170 and 8% body fat.
Right. Yeah.
So when you talk about goals and success and progress, it's all in the perspective and how you look at it, right? And much like everything in life, if you don't look at it from the proper perspective, you're gonna have a skewed view of it, and that's gonna lead you to loss of motivation, loss of drive, loss of determination. You're gonna get down on yourself. You're gonna be like, why am I even trying? But if you could just shift the perspective of whatever you're trying to accomplish and look at it from, hey, I did 5 pounds. I dropped 5 pounds of fat, but I gained 2 pounds of muscle.
Yep.
You're gonna be like, let's go.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. And like I said, that's why I tell everybody scale doesn't matter. That's why, because even just this week, I had someone that just got promoted at work to lead, so they're like right under me. They basically help me do whatever I need them to do. If I have like meetings and stuff, they cover the department. But he was like, he was in the Navy, so he was working out and everything, and then eventually left the Navy and kind of lost all of his motivation. So he was talking to me about trying to get back in the gym. So this week he's coming with me to the gym, just so I can get.
Sorry for that guy.
Just so he could kind of. I told him, like, this first week, I'm like, I'm not pushing you to get any heavy weight. I'm not pushing you to do anything you don't want to do. This week it's going to be all about form. I'm like, is if once you get the form down, everything else will come easy, natural, whatever. But then I told him, I'm like, here's what I want you to do. I was like, I don't want you to step on the scale before the gym. I was like, I want you to take your progression pictures, take a side view and a front view. And I was like, and not to be weird, I was like, but I want you to send them to me. I was like, after you take the pictures, send them to me. And then 3 months down the road, I want you to do it again and send me those pictures. Because I want you to see the progress that you're making with the way that we're working out. And I was like, if you ever need or have any questions or anything like that, I'm always here. Here I can give you some foods that I eat and things like that. But you don't have to change everything at once. I'm like, again, the same thing. We can start with working out, and then you can eventually go to the diet, or vice versa. I was like, even if you want to start working out and change your breakfast, things like that. So
yeah, add and take away.
Yep. So that'll be my experiment for the next 3 months, or for however long he actually wants to work out with me. We'll see how long it goes.
You got to be nice to him, Titan. Don't go beast mode on him day one.
That's why I said this week's gonna be about form. I'll take it easy on him the first week. I got it. Don't worry.
He gets to week 2 and he's like, all right, Megan, it's time to work, son.
Yep, basically. All right, so let's get off of gym motivation and things like that, because I know we could talk all day about that. Because everybody
gym motivation is the easy motivation, because that's the one everybody's so comfortable in common, or so comfortable and so used to addressing.
Yeah. So let's go with work motivation. Like, what motivates you? Obviously, besides money. I asked this to a couple people at work yesterday. besides money, besides a paycheck, what gets you motivated to go to work every day? If you want, I can tell you my kind of what motivates me. If you want me to start, so you could think.
Yeah, go ahead
Um,
first, and then I'll kind of build off what you said.
so since I've been working for Adidas, it's been about 5 years now already, which is kind of crazy to think about. Um,
Ooh,
yeah. I started as a lead, which is essentially right under a supervisor. So I basically do everything a supervisor does, except have to do like payroll, things like that.
none of the
Three,
credit, none of the pay.
yeah. Fast forward 3 years, I've already been in this role for a year now, so I'm a supervisor now. But I think the
Mhm.
biggest thing that gets me wanting to go to work every day is knowing how I impact the people around me. Me
Right.
and another supervisor at work are basically the leaders of doing mock interviews. So like if people want to get promoted or want to take that next step into going to lead, going to like senior ops, or we have another thing there. They come to me and the supervisor like, hey, can we do an interview so I can practice talking in front of people? Now and we're like, yeah, like we never say no to anybody that wants to better themselves. You know what I mean? But we're also the type of people that aren't gonna come to you and be like, hey, do you want to do a mock interview? We need you to
Mm.
come to us and want to show and want to put forward that you want to do the next step. You know what I mean? So out of the last 2 years, we've gotten 7 people promoted. So just like doing that and
Damn, son.
seeing that is my motivation to go to work every day, and also explaining to them like how the operation works rather than them just coming to work and doing their job. I tell everybody the same thing. I'm like, we're here to work 12 hours. I'm trying not to make it a prison. Like we're both here. We're both doing the same thing. I don't want to make it a prison. We could have fun. We could do things, but like as long as you're working, do what you got to do. You know what I mean? Like I'm not gonna be like, hey, do this and don't talk to anybody. Go in that trailer, fill that trailer. You got to stay in there. It's 900 degrees. You can't come out. Stay in there and do your job. I'm not gonna do that. Like I get it.
Right.
You know what I mean? And I think that's a good mentality to have. Is just everybody's there to get a paycheck. Everybody's there, and I even like to spice it up a little bit too. I like the when I'm unpacking, we have like rates they gotta hit, so they gotta hit like $60 an hour. I'll post up rates and I'll nudge someone. I'll be like, hey, he's beating you by $5. What are you gonna do about it? And then the next hour they start racing each other. So I try to make it a fun time, and I think everybody has a good time there.
Yeah. When you talk about like job motivation or professional motivation, for me in the situation I'm at right now, I'm not gonna lie, it's all about the paycheck for
Right.
me. But it's all about the paycheck for me because I don't like the work. So let me clarify. I work as a direct support professional. So what that is I take care of people who are physically and mentally disabled.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. It's not a work I enjoy. I don't like, and I don't know how to say this without sounding like a dick. I don't like going to work wiping asses and like feeding people baby food,
Yeah.
right? It's not work I enjoy.
Yeah. There are some people that
So
enjoy it. So I mean,
right, and like my coworkers, half of them are like, "This is my life. Like this is what I do," and I'm like, I don't get it, right? But motivation for me is the paycheck, right?
Mhm.
But I could go in and I could phone it in and get the paycheck, but I don't. I go in and I'm cracking jokes and I'm hanging out and I'm dapping up the people,
Yeah.
my clients, my coworkers. I'm busting that up. So when it comes to motivation for me with work with the job I don't like, I find motivation in the people that I work around and for. So like I have this client and I got to use his initials for HIPAA reasons.
Yep.
LRT, right? LRT is this older gentleman, big fucking dude, like 6'4". He's in a wheelchair, limited mobility, but he likes music and he likes cars and stuff. And so like when I come into work, I dap up LRT. I'm like, "What's up, LRT?" And he'll tell me about stuff, and then he'll start talking about cars. And I'm like, "I'm not a car guy. Tell me about your cars." And watching him just,
Yep.
did you, and he can't communicate real well, but I can understand him. So like, he'll talk about a Chevelle or a Camaro, or he'll talk about uh uh some of the older classic cars, like a '55 Chevy, right?
Yeah.
He starts on a roll, or he'll start talking about Three Stooges. So when he's talking about that stuff, I'm listening so that I know how to make him laugh, or I know how to make his day a little better. So
Yep.
like he loves the Three Stooges. So I come in and go, I'll do the Three Stooges, or I'll be like, "What's up, fucker?" And he'll laugh.
Yeah.
Or like when I hit up my coworkers, I got this coworker, his name is Connor, right? Kid's 21, the nicest kid on the block, but the dude is swagged out, got the cabana hat, got the shirt. I come in, I bust his ass. I'm like, who the fuck you think you are? You're a white kid in the Pacific Northwest walking in with all that swag. What the fuck is wrong with you? And he doesn't know what to do. He like loses his shit. And I love cracking him up. Like the other day, he was wearing he had the Panama hat and he had like the Cuban shirt on. I'm like, who the fuck you think you are? Tony Baloney over there? And I drop an Italian accent or I'll go Cuban on him just to get him to fucking laugh or be like, shut the fuck up. So for work, for my work motivation is I want to make people have a great time.
Yep.
You know, I just want to, and for me, getting reactions out of people at work, trying to get them to give me something, that's how I get motivated. The other one too is I was raised by a single mom who worked 3 jobs to give me and my siblings what little she could. And she beat the dog shit out of me about work ethic. She goes, even if it's a job you hate, you be the best motherfucker at the job. So they know who you are, they know the work you do, and they can never say shit that you didn't bust your ass. Mm-hmm. Right? And she said that hard work gets recognized. Depending on the company, yeah. I will say that little bit of wisdom ain't always correct, Mom.
Exactly.
But at this company, I've been here 4 months, I got 2 raises.
There you go.
Because I've been hustling like a motherfucker. I've been grinding. Right? There was a rule at work where you can't wear earbuds. But they came to me and said, hey, Rick, what's going on? Well, you know, because I got written up twice. I need earbuds. They're a coping mechanism for me. For trauma, my PTSD, my anxiety. And I told them, hey, man, I've been abused by people with issues. And I'm working with people with issues because it's the best job I could get. So when one of my clients is kind of losing their shit, I kind of need to I got to have something to distract me. I use headphones for pain management, so I don't actively have to think about pain editing. So if there's like a podcast or music on, I don't have to think about, stop thinking about how much you're in pain. Yeah. I can just let the podcast or the music take over. So the company was like, oh, that's why you do it. I was like, yeah. I wear one earbud at a time and I keep the volume at a quarter or less so I can hear what's going on around me. You know what the company said? You can use earphones. If that's what you do, you can use earphones. I said, the alternative is I go to my doctor, I get a shit ton of drugs, and I show up on fucking perks and Valiums and all that shit, right? Because that's acceptable. That's the acceptable way to deal with that. My company was like, no. You explained it.
Don't do that.
You can use it. You can use your earbuds. We respect. Bro, I'll walk through fire for that company now. Yeah. Because they met me halfway. And my clients are awesome people. I don't like the work at all. I fucking hate the work. But I love the people I work for and I work with. And the company sees that. And they're like, we know you don't like the work, Rick, but you're a killer at it. So we're going to give you what you need to get through it. Yeah. So yes, the paycheck is the motivator, right? I got to pay bills. I want to eat food. I want to have nice drip. You know what I'm saying?
Got to get that chain.
Got to get that swag on. I'm learning. Like my kid's a fashion dude. And he was like, Dad, you got to get over the dad drip and you're single now. You the gray fox, you know, you gotta swag out a little bit. So he like picked out some necklaces, got me some wrist cuffs, you know, on a list. He's like, you got the money, reinvent yourself. So now motivation for work is not only is it the paycheck, but being good at work is going to facilitate me in my next chapter, whether it's getting to the gym, like being able to pay for a gym membership outside of no knocking Planet Fitness, but fuck Planet Fitness with their bullshit.
Someone actually posted about that the other day. They're like, I hate Planet Fitness. I was like, it's the only 24-hour gym around me. That's why I go. If the other
right, gym, same, right? I don't begrudge anyone who goes to Planet Fitness, but fuck Planet Fitness.
I agree.
Their fucking policies and their fucking bullshit is garbage. But if it's all you got, it's what you got, right? So you do you, boo-boo. You lift them weights.
Yep.
But me going to work and killing it at work is going to lead to the next step. And everybody's asking me, what's the next step? Honestly, I don't know what the next step is, but here's my plan. I'll let y'all in a little secret. This is secret time. This is secret time. Mass announcement. In the next 2 years, when my kid turns 18, he's dipping. He's out. He's doing his own thing. My other son's 21. He's on the way. He's doing his thing. When my kid turns 18, Docs is getting a passporty. And he's out. Backpack, laptop, microphone, camera. I'm hitting it. I'm going overseas. I'm gonna go to Scotland and hook up with that sheep fucker, Chris.
Yo, Chris, you got an extra couch there for docs?
Right? Then I'm going over to the Netherlands to hang out with my guy Howler. Then I'm gonna dip down to Manchester and hang out with like Monster and fucking Bill Bob and all them guys. Then I'm gonna fly over to Singapore and hang out with my guy Kai. I'm gonna hit up Australia, go hang out with my girl Oz, and then I'm gonna go up to New Zealand and hang out with my guy Paca and Tonga. And then I'm probably gonna loop my ass back to some beach in Portugal where I can bang spring breakers and serve drinks.
Chris goes, no, I don't speak English.
But no, that's my tentative plan. Like I'm out. My job is done. My boys are 18. They're on their way. They can handle themselves. I'm not gonna be my mom who sat in the house and cooked food waiting for people to show up. No, Big Dog Docs is on a world tour.
Yeah.
And if the world tour don't work out, I'm getting 3 dogs and a hairless cat. Check this out. World tour don't work. It's gonna be me, Hondo, Deke, and Meathead, the 3 muscle dogs, and we're gonna have a hairless cat. His name's gonna be Mr. Skins, and we're gonna roll around the town just chilling. 3 dog and a hairless cat drinking beers and chasing skirts.
Hairless
I'm getting
cat.
tattooed. I'm getting swagged out, and the next 40 years of my life, I'm gonna crush it no matter where I am. That's what it is. That's my goal. I'm gonna do all. I'm gonna be. This is my villain era. Let's put it that way.
Big pimpin' docs.
Big the B and the D to the O to the X, baby. I'm gonna get the big purple hat with the zebra stripe. I already got the pimp cane in the corner, bro.
He's gonna get the Flava Flav clock. He's gonna get it all.
Oh no, I don't need a clock, bro. Bro, clocks are played out. I'm gonna get the big TR on the chest, like wow, bling bling. I'm gonna have rings. But no, my next chapter is gonna be. It's gonna be facilitated by the work I'm doing now, right? We talk about motivation, but in order to do that dream, whether it's the world travel and hang out with my sons and hang out on a beach somewhere in Portugal, sipping Mai Tais and hitting on spring breakers because I'm the sexy old, gray fox that they. I need to find girls with daddy issues. That's what I'm saying.
I mean, have you seen this generation? You'll probably find a lot.
But I'm saying none of that gets facilitated without the motivation to make myself better,
right?
Kill at work, and just make just get better.
Yeah.
And in order to get better, you got to have that motivation, determination, and ambition, like we've been talking about. So, from a professional standpoint, this job gets on my resume. I'm in healthcare.
Mm-hmm.
So if I want to fly over to like Portugal, I have healthcare experience. And what's one of the fastest growing markets?
Healthcare.
In every healthcare, right? So I can get a job in healthcare till I can find a hot bar that I can start slinging drinks again because I used to be a bartender.
Yeah.
Bro, I can mix up the cocktails and sling a tail like the best of them. But for me, none of that happens without A, the job, right? Facilitating that.
Mm-hmm.
And B, the determination to start saving, which I need to do, by the way. Start saving and really start building towards that future, whatever the future is, whether it's the dogs in the pickup truck or the world traveler, whichever one, I'm fine with that. But the problem comes, and this is what everybody's going to talk about. Oh, you hear this. Oh, Docs has got all these plans. But what happens if he hits a setback, right? I don't make enough. I don't save enough each month, whatever. I have to have the motivation to realize that it's not the end.
Right.
Right. And when your world falls apart, like mine has so many times, initially it feels like the world is ending, right? You're never going to find anybody. You're useless. You're a piece of shit. No one cares about you. And then slowly but surely, your day ones, your ride or dies, your bad motherfuckers, they'll message you, hey, bro, how are you? Like Chris, like my bestie back in Wisconsin, she's hot as shit, and she's hitting me up. What are you doing? I mean, why you shower? How you doing, homie? You looking great, right? My ex-wife, who's like, we don't talk a lot, but she's there. Like I could call her up and be like, yo, she'd be there in an instant. My boys just left. Like my one son's at work. He's coming back tonight because he's got to work in the morning. So he's going to stay with me instead of going back to mom's because mom's lives about 20, 30 minutes out of town now. And he's like, "Hey, Dad, did you eat? Did you get something to drink?" You got to find your people, your tribe, your
Yep.
clique, your day ones, your crew, whatever you call it, because all too often we get lost in our own shit, whether it's relationships, our own mental health, or our own grind, and we only notice the amount of people we have supporting us when we take that step back.
Yep.
Right? So like my friends have always been there in my relationship, but it was always dad, boyfriend, stepdad. That had to take priority because you got to be in that situation.
Yeah.
But the minute it all went away and I was at my wits' end, my phone was blown up. Dog, where you at? You eating? No, I'm broke. I'm homeless. I got you. And I had friends I've never met in real life. They like PayPal me like not insignificant amounts of money.
Yeah.
Like in the 7 months that I've been homeless, friends of mine were like, "This will help you survive," and I was like, "I don't want." They're like, "I don't care if you don't want it. You can't refuse it."
Yeah.
So when it comes to motivation and reaching your goals, you're not alone ever. You just feel alone
Yep.
a lot of times because we're so caught up in our own shit that we don't often see the life preserver that's there. And when we do see the life preserver, it's that little push to keep you going,
Yep.
right? A friend will text you, there's a tick you talked about TikTok trends earlier. There's a TikTok trend of all these females being like, get you a girlfriend that'll send you booby pics or whatever to make you feel better. I got one of them. It's not nudes, but I was down one day. I posted something on Facebook. I was like, man, I'm gonna be miserable. This chick sent me a photo just looking hot as shit. She's like, figured you needed to cheer up. I was like, that's what I'm saying. Like, you got to find motivation and inspiration in those moments, whether it's a bestie who will send you a pic of her booty, or if you got a male friend who will send you a pic with his shirt open and be like, what's up? Or somebody who will kick you some scratch and go, I don't need you to pay me back. I just need you to live.
Yeah.
Right. And I think the more you can, the more you can recognize that, the more it'll support that motivation. The more it'll support that drive and ambition and that self belief in yourself. Because without self belief, there is no motivation. Without ambition, there is no drive, right? Without support, there is no success. No man, woman, or other is an island unto themselves, though we think we are.
Yep.
And oftentimes we're made to feel that way by finances, by relationship shit, by work stuff. And we need to realize that we can have our friends and our hobbies and our interests and have our relationships. But we need to be healthy and ready to find that balance. And we have to have people in our lives that allow us to find balance as you allow them to find their balance.
Yep.
And it comes back to inspiration, motivation, and ambition, like we've been talking about this whole time. You got to be able to find that in yourself, and you have to have people see that so that when you don't see it, they see it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I think that's like you just hit the nail on the head there. I try to you want to surround yourself with people that aren't going to put you down at your lowest. You want to find people that are always going to be there, even if it's a small victory. They're texting you like, "Yo, man, congratulations! Great job. You're looking great." Things like that. Even if you don't see it yourself, because I mean, like you said, 2 years ago, I mean, I was kicked out of the house. I was kicked back to my mom's. I had to restart streaming all over again. I had to, find myself, and I had people texting me at 2, 3 in the morning. Hey, you good? I haven't heard from you today. Then it's just things like that that want to make you just keep going, make you keep staying up, and I mean that was what got me through everything too. Was just having friends there. Hey man, you want to go grab a drink? I know we haven't seen each other in a while, but are you doing anything today? Or next week we can hook up, just hang out, talk bullshit, watch a football game, things like that. So it's just you definitely want to surround your people that have the same goals and intentions that you do.
But you also want to show people that are going to challenge you. They're
Right.
gonna they're gonna keep you
Right.
they're gonna keep you grounded. So like if you come walking in with some bullshit, they're gonna look at you and go, shut the fuck up and sit down.
Yep.
Right. And you can't be afraid to have those people in your life that are gonna look at you and go, dude, you wore that shirt yesterday. Go change. Right. You gotta have those people that'll challenge you and tell you no, but they tell you no because they
They
see that
care.
they care, right? You can't have people that put you down out of mean spirit. You gotta have, like, I was having this conversation with my son today before he left. We were coming back from getting food, and we were talking about roasting each other. Like we were in a restaurant eating, and he roasted the shit out of me, right?
Yeah.
Just I don't remember what it was. I was so pissed off. He got me so good, and this couple sitting next to us just had the dirtiest face. And the dude leaned over and he goes, I don't mean to pry, but you gonna let your kid talk to you like that? And I'm like, yeah, because it was he roasted me good,
Yeah.
and that it was in good nature. I said something dumb, he jumped on it and got me.
Yep.
And if you're not comfortable, like this is such a cliche, but like real friends fuck with
real
each other.
Real friends hate each other. As much
Real
as
friends, your real ones fucking will tear you down and laugh at the dumbest shit. But they're also the ones that'll pick you up in the mud.
Right. Real friends are the
They're
ones that
also
are gonna knock you down, trip you, will be like,
Yeah.
haha, you fell, idiot, and I'll get back up. Like
Right. And you gotta have people that do that. You can't have like yes men. You can't have like, oh baby, you perfect.
Yeah.
Because you're not perfect. We're all flawed. We're all broken. We're all damaged in some way. But it's your real ones and the ones that care, that look at the damage and go, oh dude, come on, man. You're really you like that? You're into that? Oh, come on. Feet? Really?
Yeah.
No, man. But secretly they're into feet too,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
It's like-
Oh, you watch anime? That's lame, bro. Yo,
right? You weeb ass otaku bitch, right?
What
They're
you
over there watching, and they're watching hentai, right?
Yeah.
You're like, at least I'm not in the tentacles, bitch. But you gotta have that, right? You gotta
Yeah.
have the people that will challenge you, support you, love you, bust you down, and build you up. And you gotta be that for them too. Because if you have those people in your life and you're not one of them for them, you're a piece of shit. Because you're just taking and not giving back what you're giving.
Yep.
And a lot of times, like we said, you kind of get lost in your situation, right? As humans, it's natural. So in college, I spent a lot of time in college, never got the degree because, life.
Back.
I studied anthropology and human connection and cultural behavior. It's natural for humans to get lost in their own shit because deep down, humans are very limited in their ability to care for others. So there's the theory that humans have the capacity only to care for roughly about 150 people, right? To various levels. Some people more, some people less, some people don't give a shit about anybody. But that number of people is relatively so small that people tend to get lost in their own shit or in their own connections. And a lot of times our tribes or our peoples, we don't listen to them because they might not be everyday people. Like say like Chris, right? I talk to Chris every day, but he's not here.
Yeah.
So like I may not hear what he's saying all the time because I'm mired in my own shit. But the minute I stop and take a step back and be like, all right, he's got a point. So like when I was in a relationship and things were bad and a lot of bad shit was going down, I didn't hear what was being said. Like Chris and my friend Dante and my friend Kelly and stuff like that. I didn't hear what they were saying because I was so in it trying to make whatever it was work because that was my thing.
Yeah.
Right. I was like, oh, I'm stepdad. This is my person. Right. I shut all those people who were the ones trying to help out because I didn't think I needed it.
Yeah.
And ultimately, me not stepping away and getting help on a situation probably facilitated the collapse of the relationship because I didn't take a step back and see what they were trying to say and then call it out in the relationship. Right?
Yeah.
So not only do you need those people around you, you also have to have the wherewithal to look at it and hear what they're saying and be like, no, you're right. And true friends and true people that you have with you, yeah, they're gonna beat you up, they're gonna kick you down, they're gonna laugh at you, but they're also gonna pick you up in the mud. And you're gonna do that for them. And if you're lucky enough to find that, never lose that.
Right.
right? Realize
Absolutely.
that where you are right now is only part of you, right? Listen to everybody, and it's hard, man. It's easier said than done, right? You're working a 40-hour week job, maybe more. You're dating your girlfriend or wife or whatever, and your friends are trying to tell you something, they're trying to holler at you to check in with you, and you're like, just the relationship. It's always got to be about balance in all things, right? Whether it's, your boys are roasting you or the job, you're kicking ass, you still have to address everything in proportion and in balance. And that's the hardest thing about it, right? The hardest thing about life is balance.
Yep.
Because we like what we like, and we're going to do what we like. And a lot of times we don't see the negatives of doing what we like. And if we could just get the perspective that we have when we're kind of going through the shit alone, so to speak, and keep that perspective when we're in it, when it's good, we can make the good last a lot longer. And again, it comes down to finding that balance in your motivation and your ambition and your determination. So when it comes to work, yeah, the paycheck is the key motivator, but you got to find other motivation, like busting your crew at work, busting your clients' ass, whether it's you're working security or bartending or doing DSP work or working as a nanny. Like, dude, when I was a nanny, I was ruthless to those kids. I was ruthless to those kids, man. They were little kids. They were like little past toddlers. They'd come home and they'd be like, let's have a dance off. Right back in the 90s, NSYNC, Backstreet Boys. I would tear their ass up on the dance floor, right? And I'd be like, here's why you lost, and I'd play with them, be like, yeah, but I got experience, right? You don't. Here's what you do. So I'd give them shit, but I always give them shit with love to kind of be
Yeah.
like, you're going to go through struggle, right? Not everything's going to be pillowcases and puff pieces and
Unicorns and butterflies.
unicorns and butterflies and sparkles flying out your ass. But they were little, right? So I bust their ass, but I did it in a joking way. And those kids today, I haven't went around those kids in the last 10, 12 years. I still get text messages on my birthday. We love you. We love you, Docs. We miss you. Because you were real with them,
Yeah.
right? You raised up their successes and you showed them their failures, but you showed them their failures as learning lessons. And when something ends, be a relationship or a job, there's always something to be learned from it. And the key to moving forward and being better than you were is learning the lesson of the failure. You've heard it so many times, pro athletes, successful people is like, I never learned anything when I won. I
Yep.
always learned when I lost. And nowadays, again, hate to be the old guy, back in my day, nobody loses anymore, right? As a kid, you don't lose
Participation
as a kid.
trophies.
Right. And I'm not trying to be like toxic masculinity, but like even with my kids, like I've seen them go into high school, like they all made the team. They all got the drink. Back in my day, you weren't good enough you didn't make the team that year. You got your ass on the field and you got better.
Yep.
And my kids aren't big athletes, right? But like they were in the school was always like, oh, it's fine. But when my kid came home with an F, I was like, this is unacceptable. He's like, why? I'm like, because you could do better.
Yep.
And he was like, well, I can't. I'm like, yeah, you can. I taught you better. He's like, well, it's fine for school. I'm like, I'm not school. So yeah, I busted his ass, but I busted his ass out of love, knowing that if he didn't develop the skills to grind and be better and excel, he wasn't going to amount to nothing. And now he's 21. He's got a job, for a good job for what's around here,
Yeah.
but he's got plans now, and he knows he has to take this job to get to the next job. So again, it comes down to just finding it within yourself and finding it in the people around you. And if you don't have those two things, then you got to find them,
Yep.
right?
And you always want to start with yourself. Everything else will come later.
And that's a lesson I got to learn. That's one huge thing that I got to learn. I've never, ever, ever, ever put myself forward. And now I'm trying to.
Yeah.
And that I'm learning that lesson every day. Every day these last 7 months. Shout out to my ex-wife. She's like, you got to be selfish. You got to figure out you. Shout out to Chris and everybody who's checked in on me. They're like, what'd you do for yourself today? I'm like, nothing. They're like, go get a soda. I was like, I don't want a soda. They're like, go get a tea then. Go get in the shower. Go do your laundry. Holler at that girl. You ain't got to date her. Just be like, what's up? You know? And we got to do it.
Yep.
We got to do it. We got to put ourselves first, but we got to put ourselves first in a healthy way. Because if you put yourself first in a negative way or in a narcissistic way or a self-serving way, that's a road that leads to heartbreak, misery, and failure.
Yep.
Right? Though society would tell you otherwise. Look at some CEOs and fucking bullshit. Yeah. But there's a lot of stuff that you don't see that those narcissistic billionaires that like lost.
Yeah.
So I don't know, man. It's such a complicated thing when you talk about determination and motivation and where you at and how to be better, because it's such a core concept. It's something that a lot of us have never worked. We were never taught. And as a parent, hey, what's up, Hot Piccadilly?
What's up, Dilly?
It's as somebody who's a parent, I've always tried to instill that attitude that you guys are number one in your world. You are the hero of your own story, right? Because I was never taught that. I was never taught to chase my dreams as a kid. So when my kids come up and say, "Dad, I want to do this," okay, do your research. What's it going to take to do that? And they'll spend 2 weeks on it. They'll come back and they'll do the research. They'll tell me all about it, and I'll get them what they need when I can afford it. Right? My kid wants to learn programming. Got him a bunch of programming stuff. Downloaded Unity. He might not stick with it.
Yeah,
but he's got the support to chase it. And I never had that. I never had the belief in myself as a kid. But because I didn't have that, I put it in my kids. Because now they have it. They know that dad's got their back. They know that dad's going to support them. However, dad's going to say, make sure you're not fucking yourself while you're chasing the dream. Like, handle your basics and get the dream handled. And then there's the mentality of like, oh, don't have a plan B. No, fuck that. Have a plan B, C, D, but go after plan A like you ain't got plan B and C.
Yep.
Have that shit in the back pocket, but act like you don't.
Yeah. Yeah. I think the biggest thing to take from anything is like, I hate that sentence when you said like, I can't. I
can't.
I hate it. I
say it all the time though.
I know. And like, and it's not that I hate it, and I know there are some things that obviously you can't do, but like, if you didn't even attempt it, how do you know you can't do it? You know what I mean? It's
you just do it if you don't try.
Right. You know what I mean? If at first you don't succeed, try again. You know what I mean? It's like one of those natural quotes. You're American, not American. Shut up, Chris.
America.
And I hate to keep going back to the gym, but like, it's just the easiest way to do it. Like, I was training with this guy for the last like 6 months before he switched shifts, but like, the biggest thing, especially when working out, is when you go to do a set, if you already have in your head that you are not going to get that weight or you're not going to get that rep, you're not going to do it. It's already in your head. No. It's already like, you're going to lift it up. You're going to be like, oh, I can't do it. You're going to get halfway down and you're going to struggle coming up because you already had it in your head. I'm like, don't ever say that to me again. Like, don't look me square in the face and say you can't get this rep, because I will throw a weight at you. Like, I don't care. I will do it.
I'm throwing iron at your ass, motherfucker.
You will have a 45 dropped on your foot. But
damn, 45. Yeah, shit, you ain't playing.
I don't fuck around. But like, it took a couple times for him to realize what I was saying. I was like, no matter what, it took me 2-3 months to get to 75s for bench press. And every time I didn't sit down and go, oh, I'm not going to be able to do this. Oh, I don't want to. Do I say I don't want to do this? Yes, of course, because it's heavy ass weight and I don't want to lift it. But I don't sit there and go, I can't do this. I'm not going to do this. And music is the biggest thing that helps me through working out.
Music is life, bro. Music is life.
Like, and everybody can listen to their own genre of music. It doesn't matter. I have my gym playlist is rap, rock, all that. Like, but there's certain songs that you just put on and you hit a certain point where you're like, all right, I'm gonna do this. Like, there's just a certain point in that song where it just hits different and it goes hard. to where I always pick that song right before I'm gonna go for that weight, and then I push it out. And and that's what I tell everybody the same thing. I'm like, you have to just get in the mindset of you can, not you can't.
You gotta have that badass mentality. Like you're
Right.
the baddest motherfucker in the
Right.
room.
You might not want to do it. You might, like you might not have the energy, but as long as you have in your head that you can do anything, you will have and eventually get the motivation to keep wanting to do that and keep going through.
Yeah, I think you make a great point, right? It comes down to mentality. Like you're not gonna throw that weight if you're like, oh, I can't throw that weight. And chat made a great point. It stems from like if you have low standards, you can't be disappointed, right? That was me forever, like in high school and junior high. Women were always okay. This might be TMI, but I'm gonna go with it anyway. So junior high, middle school, women, I was atrocious, right? I was the enemy. People made fun of me. I'm telling you right now, though, high school, I was the dirty little secret, right? If you know where I'm getting at.
You know what I'm saying?
You know what I'm getting at, right? So I had low standards. I'm like, I'm never gonna get the hot chick, whatever. But yet the hot chick was calling me on a Friday night. Fast forward to adulthood, when I'm trying to get adult relationships, I've got missing fingers. I'm scarred up. I don't think I have the greatest standards. My ex-wife, former dancer. Mm-hmm.
Oh my god.
Uh-huh. My ex-girlfriend, former dancer.
Oh
Come on now. Come on now. Hot. Like I landed the hot, like I'm not saying like, in a negative way. Like they were fucking hot.
Yeah.
And they still are. Like, but little old me, glasses, missing fingers, gray hair, scarred up, lands the hot chick after years of being tormented by the hot chick. But it comes down to the mentality, like Chris said, my state, like I'm gonna walk in a room and be like, I'm going home with that. I'm throwing that weight.
Yep.
I'm getting that job, right? 7 months, 65 applications. 65 applications to land the job I got now. Now that I got the job, the applications that I put in are calling me. Like, hey, man, we got your application a couple months ago. Why don't you come work? No, dude.
You already lost it.
You lost it. Because I didn't accept not being successful. I didn't accept not getting the girl. I didn't accept not kicking ass, right? I started my own martial arts studio with my best friend back in the day. 20 years. We taught the high risk kids who were the worst disciplinary actions in the world. Yeah. And we've got kids that have been with us for those 20 years who are raising families and turning their lives around. And none of that could have been done if I didn't walk in the room being like, what's up?
Yeah.
Who wants to smoke?
Exactly.
Right? And I have that mentality 95% of the time. I'm not going to lie. I struggle. And you will too. Everybody's going to struggle. You don't feel like the baddest motherfucker in the room every day.
Yep.
But the day you do, you grab that shit. You own it. You be like, I'm gonna throw that weight. I'm gonna drop that girl my number. I'm gonna go to my boss and be like, I need a raise, and here's everything I do for you. And if you don't, your boy down the street who does the same shit you do wants this.
Yep.
Right? And that's what we talk about, the mentality. You raised such a good point, and we've been talking about the facets of motivation and determination. A lot of it doesn't work if you don't have the mentality either. And everybody's mentality is different. Like, you don't have to be the loudest chest banger in the room, right? You can be that quiet, silent assassin guy who just rolls in, headphones in, PRs the shit. Everybody looking at him like,
yep. Everybody got that sleeper build.
Right? he just reps the 90s and everybody just stops. They're like, who that guy? And they're like, oh, that's Titan. Like, what is he? They're like, what? That guy? Like, where I live now, right? I live in a quad. Yeah. So a quad is basically 4 offices that got turned into bedrooms. There's a little hallway that's got a kitchen on one end, and then there's a bathroom on the other, right?
Yeah.
I got my own private entrance. I got my own internal door. I live in a complex of quads. Don't nobody know my name. I leave quiet. I come back quiet. All they see me is they see Amazon rolling in. They see me walking out when my boy is laughing. They don't. I move like a shark because I'm on to the next thing. Like, so, but yet there's all this stuff. They're like, who's that? Like, I've heard it. Like, I've heard it. Like, because you hear shit out here. Like, you can hear it when they're all talking. They're like, who's the guy up in the, who's the gray here? Like, I hear it.
Yeah.
So like, I don't have to beat my chest. And my son and I were talking about it. Like we were talking about different personality types. He goes, Dad, you're not the bad boy type, but you've got that sort of bad man energy.
Yeah.
You're not the thump your chest. I hate this term alpha male bullshit, but like he goes, when you walk in a room, when you're on, you don't gotta say much. You own the room. And when you have that moment when you're in your power and you got your game on point, you just lean into you,
Yep.
right? Whoever you are, that allows you to chase it and be chased and get what you want, do that. But it all comes down to knowing yourself too, right? And once you know yourself and you know where you are and your mentality, nothing's going to stop you. But you, like you said, we're our own worst critic. And ultimately, the long diatribe gets back to self-criticism. Nobody is going to be more brutal to me than me. Nobody's going to tell me the meanest, nastiest shit that I haven't already told myself and then some. But because someone else said it, I'm going to take it more personal than me, myself, who's been talking shit to myself for the last 2 weeks saying, oh, you're going to be lonely. Look, I got scars on my chest. I got scars on my feet. I'm deformed. I went out drinking with my son and we were having a good time and I didn't think about it. There were women all over just chatting me up. He's like, what's up? And I wasn't getting digits, but just my natural charisma. And he's sitting back going, why don't you do that more often? I'm like, what are you talking about? And he goes, what? Instead of just being like hating on your, somebody just had a car. They threw something in the trash. I thought somebody wrecked him. There's a loud old bang. I was like, what the fuck? But he was like, why don't you just do that? And it comes from trying to learn yourself again, right? Shutting down that self-criticism and really kind of owning your own power. Like you said, you didn't rep 75s for like 6 months.
Right.
But now you stroll up in the gym and people are like, is that tight and nasty over there? What? Yeah. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah, definitely. Everything starts with you. You have to work on you. You have to have the mentality that, you can be better and you can do better. You know what I mean? If you have that, if you have the word can't anywhere in your mind, it's not going to work out.
Yeah. You cannot have the I can't. Like I can't is look at any successful, going back to the gym reference, look at Arnold Schwarzenegger. He never says he can't. Dude is like, nah, I can't. Like, can't talk. Dude from Austria. Dude's the biggest man in Hollywood, wins Mr. Universe, gets the hottest chick in Hollywood. And everybody's like, dude sounds like a dork. And do you think he did all that by saying, I can't do it?
Yeah,
like,
right.
No. That motherfucker rolled in and said, I'm Arnold. Like, come on, man. You got to have that mentality of I can't doesn't exist. And again, everybody listening, it's easier said than done.
Yeah.
Trust me. Because I have my days.
You have to start small.
I have my days where I'm killing it, where I'm God walking, so to speak. Or as Bill Engvall would say, it's a good wiener day, right? And then there are days where I'm like, I ain't shit.
Yeah.
But you gotta, even on those days when you ain't shit, you gotta look in the mirror and be like, maybe I'm a little shit. Maybe. Just a little bit.
Yep.
Because if you don't, you're gonna get swallowed up. And that's the danger, is getting swallowed up, right?
Yeah.
Just my thought. Maybe I'm wrong on that.
Yeah. I feel like the word can't goes along the same word as hate. Like everybody's like, oh, hate's such a strong word. So is can't.
Yes.
If you substitute can't with a different word, it's obviously get like, oh, I dislike that person. Okay. That's the same thing as saying you hate them. I don't care if it's a strong word or not. If you say you can't do something, strong word. You say you can't do it because you haven't tried, or you see it and you don't want to do it. Want is completely different than can't. You know what I mean? So as long as you get in that mentality, and again, it all stems from starting small. You don't have to push yourself to the limit every single time you do something. Just ease into it. You can do it as much as you think you can't. I know it's a lot harder than it sounds, and it's just little things at a time. It's just, I know it sounds repetitive, but it's just the easiest thing to say.
Yeah, and that's the thing too is like even though it's easy to say, hard to do, it's not necessarily hard to do because you can do it.
Yeah.
You just might not be able to do it to the grandiose level that you want to do it at. So like I don't want to go to the gym and start lifting tens again, right? I don't
Yeah.
want like I can do 40s, but I shouldn't start out at 40s even
Right.
though I can right now because I don't have the conditioning to do it. I don't have the endurance. I don't have the pain management ready to start repping 40s, right? Just I,
Yeah.
I think my tricep extensions I can do like 120 right now, but I
Yeah.
probably shouldn't.
Yeah.
I should probably start maybe at 50s, but I don't want to start at 50s because it feels like a setback.
Yeah.
But it's not a setback. It's working up to where it is. So like we talked about you were helping a guy working out, right? Starting back working out and how you want to start him out. When I worked as a personal trainer, one of the first things I would do is I would tell them, I want to find out what you're capable of right now. Let's find your maxes right now.
Yep.
And don't look at it like, oh, I can only do this. This is the benchmark to where you are now and what we're gonna smash.
Yep.
So I would put dudes on a treadmill and run their asses, just run them till they're
Yeah.
sweating. And then we move to the bench and we move to the curl. How much can you do? Let's find a max. That was like the first week, right? We find out what their max is right away and say, okay, this is your benchmark right now. This is what you can do at your best. So let's start here, work up to the best, then we're gonna smash it.
Yep.
And it was a step progression. And even though they could rep, they could bench one, say like 150. I didn't start them out on 150. I knew they could do 150,
Yep.
but they could do 150 for one or two, right?
Yeah.
No, we're not going to do 150. We'll start at 75. And we'll do 75 till we get comfortable where we're not feeling fatigued, then we're going to step it up.
Mm-hmm.
Because if you know your high end, you have a goal to beat.
Right.
So that's how I did a lot of my personal training. And a lot of times it turns some people off because when you show up and you haven't worked out in a while and somebody's pushing you to do your best right off the bat, it's a little difficult.
Yeah.
But the way I would always explain it is this is what I want, this is what you're capable of right now. Right? This at where you are, this is your peak right now. We want to beat this. And in order to beat this, we got to build up to it and then beat it. Right? So it's like when you talk like you and I are big gamers, right? You at the beginning of the RPG, they show you at the baddest, right? You can cast all the spells,
Yep.
you can one-shot the monster, and then boom, you get sent back to the beginning, right? And you got to level up.
Yep.
This is what we're doing. We're giving you your intro cutscene to see where you are, where you're at your baddest right now. Then we're going to build you up to make you even better than you were before. We're going to get you that grind. We're going to get you that experience so that you can do 275, 300 on the bench. You can rep it 15 times. But we need to know where you're at.
Yep.
So that we can start you at the best point to make your journey maximized. And that's with anything like work, right? When you go to work, you got to know like where you are. So like you go in, they ask you what you're capable of, what your availability is, and you tell them I can do this, this, and they go, okay, we're going to start you here. And you're like, no, but I can do so much more. Yeah, well, that's fine. 6 months, like you said, you started out in a lead. Now you're like moving on up and you're promoting dudes. Everything in life, you have to know what you're capable of, and you have to build up to what you're capable of to make it and own it so that you can be better than what you were the day before.
Exactly.
So like if I can get up at 10 and work out for an hour, I don't have to get up at 10. I can get up at 11 and do a half hour.
Yeah.
Just to start. And then when that gets easy, I'll get up at 10:30 and I'll do 45 minutes. And when that gets easy, I'll get up at 10 and I'll do 90 minutes because I know I can do an hour.
Yeah.
And by doing that, I'm going to see more progression and more success in everything I do. And that's with creativity. That's with the relationship. So like in a relationship standpoint, because there's probably a lot of young cats out there who are new to the game, you're not going to be the best boyfriend or husband right out the gate, right? You can't walk in there going, I'm the shit, I'm the best. Because you have to listen. to your partner, like what they want, what they need, what they expect out of you. And they have to listen to you. And you're gonna make a shit ton of mistakes, dude. When I was married, I made so many mistakes. And it cost me, right? And now I know that the person I married wasn't the person I was supposed to marry. We're better off as friends. But through learning about myself in that relationship, I took it to the next relationship and I made that relationship 11 years. And that relationship it had it up and down. And now what I'm learning from the exit of this relationship is I was too much about them and everybody else. And I needed to be more about me a little bit. Because when I gave and gave and gave and didn't take nothing for myself, I got angry. I felt frustrated. I felt taken advantage of. I felt taken for granted. And now I've learned that no, maybe I need to be a little selfish when it comes to the relationship side. Maybe I need to go to the gym when I said I was going to go to the gym instead of going, oh, when they were like, oh, we don't want to go. No, I need to go to the gym. Or I need to go to the pool, or I need to go, for a drive for 40 minutes or whatever. So it all stems from, like you said, keeping it honest with yourself, starting small, not getting ahead of yourself, and just keep on pushing, right? Keep on grinding, whether it's at work, the gym, in your relationships, whether it's dating, gaming, whatever. You got to stay humble, stay focused, and stay moving forward at all times. And it is so much easier said than done.
Yep.
We've said that 100 times, that it's always going to be easier said than done, but the more you do it, the easier it gets.
Exactly. All right. One more thing about fitness and gym before I ask another question.
Okay.
Going back to what you said. So yeah. So I told him, I'm like, this month we're gonna get you. We're gonna get your form down. We're gonna get you, lifting weights again. And then next month I'm doing my PR. So I want you to come with me, and we're gonna try your PRs. After that, 2 to 3 months down the road, we're gonna do it again. I'm like, so, and I'm like, don't just go do the PR and then be like, okay, this is what I can't do. I'm like, write it down so that way that's what you have to hit or pass by the time we get to the next PR.
Yep.
If you could pass that PR by the time we go to the gym and do PRs next time, you're going to put more weight on and you're going to have a new PR. And then you're going to want to beat that. And he's like, okay, I get it. I was like, because when I did my last PR, I couldn't get 235 on chest or on bench press for one. I've been working out hard, hitting, incline, decline, all that. Last week I got 235 for two with only a struggle on the second one, and I probably could have got three because I had a spotter. And he's like, that's fucking insane. He's like, and then I even showed him. I was like, this is the difference between probably 7 months. I was like, I was 155 a year ago. This is me now. This is 10-pound difference, but it's mostly muscle, and this is what you are looking to do. He's skinny. He's shorter than me. He's built like a twig, but we'll get.
He's wiry.
Yeah, basically.
He's wiry.
Okay, so that was the last thing on that. One more thing I did want to talk about is since we are streamers and everything. What was your motivation to start streaming? Like, what got you into wanting to stream and do this essentially?
It sounds hilarious, but Matt Mercer in Critical Role.
That's fair.
So I started out streaming as a TTRPG guy. I started streaming my TTRPG games with my friends because we have really good games. Like we had a really good game. It was really funny, and I've been able to bring a lot of people into the hobby through my games, and like the way I tell a story, the way I make an adventure, the way I do sound effects and stuff. A lot of people compared me. And I'm not saying I am. I'm just saying this is the comparison. They're like, you are very much Matt Mercer, like in the way you present a story. It's engaging. It's engrossing. It's everything that you want in a story. You should stream it so that people, can see that it's not like you don't got to be a Hollywood actor to have fun and be good. And everybody's table's different. Everybody. Matt Mercer for Wish.com. Yeah, probably. Exactly. But that's what it was. Is my friends pushed me into it. And then my girlfriend at the time, Bernadette, who I love her to death still, but rip to that relationship. She encouraged me. She's like, yeah, let's do it. I'm down. I'll play with you. We have a great time. I don't mind sharing it. And then when we didn't have a game going on, she's like, well, you seem to have a lot of fun, and people were responding in chat. She's like, well, why don't you play some video games? I'm like, I don't I don't want to play a lot of video games because I feel guilty playing video games. I could be doing something with the kids or with you. She goes, no, no. And this is her credit, by the way. There's a lot of bad shit that happened between us when our relationship ended, but this girl, she was ride or die in supporting dreams and shit like
Yeah.
that. If anything, the last thing I could say about her is she was never not one to be like, I got you, go do your thing. Like she's like, go get the mic, go get the cam, whatever. Like she was down for the cause. Like,
Yeah.
and that's one of the reasons why I'm like, I'm really fucking sad that it ended because
Yeah.
like when her and I were good, it was fucking
Great.
phenomenal.
Yep.
Like nobody I've ever been with, and I love her to death. Like, trust me, like I could blabber on like a baby about the good qualities, right? But she was like, play a game, and I'm like, nobody's gonna want. She's like, I'll play with you, right? And she sat down and we played games together because I felt guilty about playing games. And then when it got comfortable and we were getting a little steam, she's like, why don't you go on your own? And I'm like, I don't play anything that nobody likes. She goes, yeah, but what you do play, when people watch you play, they see stuff that they didn't know they wanted.
Yep.
She's like, lean into it. Find those indies. Find that shit that nobody's playing. Show them what they're missing out, because I'm gonna tell you right now, I fucking hate AAA games. I hate the gaming scene so bad right now because it's dominated by Call of Duty fuckboys and AAA garbage, right? So what did I do? I found something that nobody was doing, or nobody was doing in a way that I was doing it, because a lot of people do indie stuff.
Yeah.
I was just doing it in a different way. And I was like, look, I know y'all like Call of Duty. I know you like fucking World of Warcraft, but have you seen this? Do you hear the music in this? Do you hear the art style? Do you see the game mechanics? Do you see the narrative in this? Do you see what this small dev team of 3 guys can do compared to Activision, who's got 500 developers and $500 billion, and they release the same retread skin bullshit that you pay everything for? You pay $300 to get that skin that isn't going to transfer to the next one. I paid $20, and the game that I got was a complete thing. Everything was done properly, and you supported actual developers.
Yeah.
So I started doing TTRPGs, and that's still a huge part of my identity, right? But then I moved into like voice work and indie games, and I do a lot of shit. Like I created my own voice commands on my stream. Like there's over 150 custom programmed audio mixed and engineered by me, who's never been an audio engineer. Self-taught that. Did the whole process on the Purple app, right?
Yep.
I would stream my mixing streams and teach people how to do it, because streaming for me is a chance to show people there's other shit out there, right? In the stream, from a purely streaming perspective, my job is to show you that there's more than Call of Duty and World of Warcraft.
Yeah.
And when people come by, they're like, yo, Docs, this game looks great. I'm going to go buy it on Steam. That is the greatest compliment to me in the entire world. Whether you sub or follow or whatever,
Yep.
I don't care. But if you're like, yo, this game's $5 on Steam, I'm going to go pick it. To me, that's awesome. If I can showcase an indie TTRPG and have a great stream where like I got 4 or 5 players who are dying laughing, or they're in tears crying at the end of the stream, that's my job. That's what I love. That's crack to me. I show an indie game like Shovel Knight or Hades. I'm salty about Hades. We won't get into that. If I show like Hyper Light Drifter or Wavetail or Hollow Knight or any of these really phenomenal indies that deserve so much credit for their art vision, their mechanics, the depth of creativity, the value for what you get.
Yeah.
That's what gets me like up for streaming. And yeah, I'm only gonna get 3, 10, 15, 20 if I'm lucky, because what I do isn't popular, right?
Yeah.
But I don't give a shit. I'm not there to pull hundreds of thousands of people. It'd be nice, don't get me wrong. But my whole goal as a streamer is to show you and showcase something that you ain't never seen before.
Yeah.
That you didn't know you wanted. And then when those developers come in and they're like, bro, I've had so many developers in my streams come in and be like, thank you so much. You're dope as shit. They send me their keys and I give those keys away as gifts.
Yeah.
Because to me as a streamer, my mentality is, if you're going to be in my stream, I'm going to give you value for money. So for every minute, every hour, I'm going to give you some kind of reward, whether it's a merch drop or a game key or just having your own personal entrance music. You talked about music is life. How many people on my channel have their own goddamn theme song when they come into the channel?
Me.
Right? You get your own themes, and yeah, I gotta put yours up. I'm working on it still. I had a setback moving out and shit.
Yeah.
But bro, when yours gets dropped, trust me, it's fucking great. But my whole thing is value. If you invest in me with your time, that's more valuable than your money in some ways. And if you go out and say, hey, I picked up this game because Docs was playing it, bruh, that's the greatest compliment to me in the world. If you pick up an RPG and you run a campaign with your friends and you're like, oh, I played. I'm going to try and not go on a D&D rant right now. If you pick up an RPG that you heard me talk about, because I do RPG workshop, I talk about indie RPGs and all that stuff. You go pick it up and that game turns into like your long form campaign, or you have a gaming experience that's different from D&D and you're like, oh my God, I didn't know this was a thing. Your boy is going to feel himself a little bit. And that's what it is for streaming for me, is like just being a voice and a spotlight for stuff that isn't the norm. Like, I mean, I do voice work. I'm sitting there like on stream. You can get voice rewards where I'm like doing voices like, hey, how you doing? Like they're coming and go, what you doing? How you doing? Like I do that shit.
Yeah.
And I do characters on stream. I'm the voice of 4 streamers' mascots. Like I had streamers reach out to me and say, hey Docs, can you do custom sound work for me? But can you make a character? Because I have a character. My bot is her own thing.
Yeah.
And they were like, that's dope. I want to do something similar. Could you do it with a voice? I was like, fuck yeah, dude. So I spent hundreds of hours recording, editing, cutting. And you know what I charge them? Just a sub. Just a sub. As long as I'm doing work for you, sub to the channel, $5.
Yep.
Now, realistically, I could charge $50 an hour for that shit.
Yeah.
And I could hold all the copyrights and the masters, but I don't. Why? Because it helps somebody else get discovered. It helps somebody else showcase their talents. And that to me is why I love streaming, is being able to showcase other people's work and other people's talent. And my own. Don't get me wrong. I like doing it for me.
Yeah.
But I want to show you shit you ain't never seen before. Whether it's voice acting or RPGs or comic books or fitness or martial arts or indie games or like you name it.
Yeah.
I'm all about showing you shit you ain't never seen before. And shit you should know about. And that sounds egotistical, like you need to see this, because Doc said, you're fucking right, you do. I got good taste. I've been in this game a long time. I've been playing since Atari. Where are you at? I know what good games are.
Nintendo.
Shut up. But you know what I'm saying? That's what streaming is. And honest to God, I wouldn't have did it if it wasn't for my ex-girlfriend.
Yeah.
I never would have I never would have chased it without her support. And I miss it every fucking day. I really do. And I love her to death. And I hope to God she's happy and she finds somebody. And hey, maybe the universe puts us back together when the work is done. Maybe she needs to get herself right. Her kids need to get. I don't know what the universe has in store, but I'm not going to close the door, because when it was great, it was great. When it was bad, it was fucking bad.
Yeah.
Right? But to say that she deserves no credit would be fucking shady of me.
Yeah.
Because I wouldn't be here talking to you if she didn't push me to do it. If she wasn't that ride or die, if she didn't believe in me. And I took her belief in me and I put it in other people. You know, Silver.
Yeah.
We talk about Silver. We talk about Chris. We talk about Zim. We talk about our friend Haba.
Monster,
we talk about
Bill Bob.
Monster, Bill Bob. Like all these people who started out, we were there. You, me, we popped in. We supported them. We raised them up. Because that's what it is. Streaming to me is like the streaming culture. Here's another rant about streaming. The streaming mentality is so fucked up to me in some ways, because it's like, oh, I got to get mine. You know, to an extent you do, right? And you don't want somebody to copy your shit, but like, why don't you work together? Yeah. Why don't you collab? Why don't you cross promote each other? Because Titan's audience isn't all going to stick around for Docs. Some of Titan's audience might stick around because they might have an interest in shit they haven't seen before. And some of Dox's audiences are going to stick around Titans, but that little crossover is going to grow each other.
Yep.
And if you came to me and said, "Yo, I saw, Dilly in your stream. What the fuck you post?" No, he stuck around because I'm welcoming. The mentality of streamers is, oh, I don't, don't self promote with each other. Don't poach my views. You can't have my fuck that. I tell my guys, go over, have a good time with them. I look at streaming. I've been saying this for years. I look at streaming as digital bartending. And what I mean by that is you come to my channel. It's my job to remember your name, remember your stories that you shared with me, remember what you like. And it's my job to serve you something. Whatever I'm doing that day is the drinks that are being served. And when my channel closes, my bar, so to speak, my job is to kick the party down the road to the next bad motherfucker on the street.
Right.
And when I raid somebody, I'm talking to those motherfuckers. Yo, you gonna love Titan. This dude's a bad motherfucker. He hits shots you've never seen. He loves cracking jokes. The dude's the man, right? My job is to hype the shit out of that.
Yep.
And not to be lying about it. Like, I'm not gonna hype you up if you're trash, but I'm also not gonna rate you if you're trash either.
Right.
Streaming to me is about building community. It's about showcasing talent and whatever talent it is, whether it's mine or the game or yours or Chris's or Zim's or Haba's or Monsters or whoever. Because ultimately, when that comes back to me, people are going to be like, yo, Docs turned me on to this dude. That Docs is a good dude. It's going to help me grow. It's going to help you grow.
Yep.
And it's only going to cement the fact that we got each other's backs. And I hate the fact that streaming culture isn't like that. We're such a minority in that, Titan. And that, it's so sad.
Yeah.
Because if a lot more people were like us and similar cliques, there's other people, not just us, right? I'm not saying like we're the only cats out there doing it, but like we're in a minority. And if the type of shit we do was the majority, we would all be thriving.
Yep.
Not just like the Tim the Tap Mans and the Dr. Disrespects and the Amaranths and like all the ninjas and shit. Like everybody would be thriving. But there's this whole like dog eat dog mentality when it comes to streaming and content creation that I can't stand. And that's part of it too, of why I haven't been streaming a lot, is like, I don't really want to deal with the climb. I don't want to have to like deal with the not having people come by and whatnot. But that could be solved by being consistent and doing it. So
and
I don't know. That's my brief sort of breakdown of my streaming shit.
No, yeah, you're good. That definitely has a thing for mentality too, is having to restart so many times, because I was in the same boat. I restarted probably 2-3 times, and it's hard just wanting to hit the stream button, thinking, is anybody actually going to show up? Obviously, your day ones are going to show up because they want to check on you. They want to make sure you're chilling, you're doing good and things like that. But like, I think that was probably the main reason I switched over to Kick, was it's still relatively new. And you're, like I said, there's more discoverability, so I don't have to worry about people coming in or not. Like, I just literally throw on Diablo, I run around, I do whatever I want, I don't look at the view count, I don't do anything, I just vibe, and then...
I never look at view count anymore.
Right, and, like, there's no point, and, like, same thing, like, you need 75 followers for affiliate, I'm at 31, and I can honestly care less. I'm just hopping on games to talk to people, try to meet new people over here on Kick, and just vibe. Like, I don't understand how people can just hate each other or just put each other down or hate raids or send their chat to another chat just to hate that person. Like, it just doesn't make any sense. We're all doing the same thing.
That's weak people.
Right. We're all doing the same thing. We're all just playing games to have fun. And like, I've met so many amazing people. Like you said, I met you, I met Chris, I met Chris from Amaranth, Anita, who rated me. I think it's like 3 years now. I think Chris was subbed.
Anita's dope.
Yeah, sweet Anita. She's amazing.
I love the fact that she goes out there with Tourette's and she owns it. That chick crushes and she's hilarious.
Yeah, she's amazing. And she was a small streamer just like us when we first started, and then all of a sudden she blew up, and next thing I know, she's still following me for whatever reason, and one day she decided to raid me, and that's how I met Chris, and I met a bunch of other people. But yeah, I feel like everybody should have that mentality. Like, no matter how big you get, know where you started. There's people that are
stay humble.
Right. There's people that are doing the same thing you did. They're not as popular. They might not be as popular as you, but that's because the scalability on Twitch is ass. But just remember where you came from. Remember how you started. Remember what you started. But streaming to me is more like I'm playing a video game, I might as well hop on and see what people have the same interests as me and see if I can meet new people in the world. You know what I mean? Like, I'd rather play a video game vibe and have someone come in and talk about the video game and have the same interests as me, and hey, maybe we hook up and we play some games sometime. You know, that's how I met a bunch of different people on Twitch, and we actually game together and do stuff like that. But I feel like people that don't stream don't see the impact it could have on someone who does stream.
Facts.
Like, everybody just like, oh, he didn't stream today, it must just be a bad day for him. Or it's like, no, like, I was ready to sit there and hit the record button, and then everything hit me like, oh, is anybody gonna come in, or is anybody gonna watch this? Oh, this new game just dropped and everybody's gonna watch, you know, Shroud or Summit, and they're not gonna watch me. You know what I mean? Like, it's just like, it's just hard to even play new games because everybody's already, they give it to partners and things like that, so they already saw gameplay for it, and it's things like that.
The deck is stacked against you, 100%.
Right, absolutely. So I see streaming as more of an outlet just to meet new people and be. I feel like it could actually help people get over like talking in public and things like that as well, because they're not in front of you, but you're still talking.
They're with you.
Right, they're with you. You're still having to talk yourself and to entertain them. And I'm not saying I'm the most entertaining person, but like you said,
don't downplay.
No.
When you on your bag, you on your bag.
Like you said, you added, you know, your channel point rewards. I did the same. I was able to look and find things too, like the disco, rage, things like that incorporates people into the stream. Now, again, I would 100% go with what you said and try to collaborate with people. Like, well, look when we did Among Us nights and like Pummel Party and things like that. Yeah, we were all small streamers, but we're all working together. By the way, still never playing Among Us with you.
You know what? Hey, I wasn't that good at the game now, baby. I'm better. I see shit now.
We'll still never play Among Us with you ever again.
Dude, you trust me. Come on back, baby. You're safe. I got you, boo.
Never. Just watching me die in cold blood and just walking by. It's fine.
I didn't see your body. I was focused on the task, asshole.
But it's things like that. Like, Chris goes, don't trust him. See, Chris knows.
Oh, I betrayed the shit out of Hava. She don't like playing Among Us with me either.
But it's just the little things like that. I even collaborated with like Zombie and Electra, who's a bigger streamer. We were playing Scavengers together. So it's just things like that. Like, I feel like people need to put their egos aside and just be able to work with each other. Yep. Right. And just be able to work with each other.
Well, that's the whole point, right? Like, when you talk about streaming, it's a communal thing. And here I try to explain streaming to a lot of people and they don't get it. But all streaming is you sitting on the couch with your boy when he's playing the Sega or the Nintendo or the PlayStation. You're in the room with your boy on the couch and your boy's got the controller and you're busting his ass. Yep. So like, I can't play FPS, but when you playing it, I'm dogging your ass out every time you miss a shot. I'm like, oh, what the fuck? Or when you hit the shot, I'm like, yeah, it's the communal experience. Streaming to me is the community. It's no different. The only difference where you're not in the room with your boy. You're not on the couch with your boy or your girl or your dog or whatever you identify as.
Yeah.
You're not in the room with them, but you're in the room. And one of the things I loved as a kid, and I'm going back a ways, was sitting down at the Nintendo and watching my homeboy play, you know, Tecmo Super Bowl. Or when we take turns on Super Mario, he would die and hand the controller, right?
The good old days.
It's that same, right? Back in my day, them good old days, son. Them good old days when you could slap the children and tell a woman to make you a sandwich. You know what I mean? Them good old days. But the streaming experience, if done really well, right? And if everybody gets it, it's like you're hanging out in your room playing with your boys.
Right. They're
busting your ass. They're dropping like TTS. They're dropping text-to-speech burns on you. All that, right? Doc's reminiscing about those days.
Hey, dinosaur right away.
Look,
but he didn't play the game. He was the one punching the dinosaur.
That's right. And look, I don't got to be faster than the dinosaur. I just got to be faster than the dude behind me. That's why I trip him and run. But that, like you said, streaming is about hanging out and vibing. And a lot of people don't understand that because they don't do it. Because streaming it's new media, right? You know what? He wasn't that good at calculus. He was cheating on Mary for calculus. He's cheating off her skill. Trust me. Mary was teaching us all calculus. Hoe. But no, streaming at its best is you hanging out with your boys, your girls, whatever your clique is, and then busting your ass or you busting their ass. It's just like having those day ones. And you mentioned it. It's hard to hit the go button. Like I don't got to go to work till 2. I get up at 10 o'clock. I can do 4 hours every fucking day.
Yep.
And I lately I can't because I'm stuck, man. I'm like, who's gonna show up? Am I gonna be funny? Can I get over my depression and be on? Because let's face it, like this right now, you're hearing this. This is me cranked up, right? As a streamer, good streamers are themselves, but just a little more.
Yeah.
Right. So right now you're hearing my stream voice. If you want to know what my real voice sounds like, it's literally like this. This is like when no one's around, I talk like this. No, I just be like, "What's up?" But when I'm streaming, it's like, "What's up, baba?" You turn it up a little bit.
Yeah.
Because if you don't have energy, your chat's not gonna have energy. And you don't have to be voice energy. You don't got to be animated. Maybe your gameplay is the energy. But if you don't have juice, your stream's not gonna have juice.
Right.
And a lot of times, me not streaming is I just don't feel like I got the juice, man.
Yeah.
And I tell my friends that I'm like, oh, I haven't streamed in like 3 weeks. They're like, why not? I'm like, I don't know. They're like, but you're good at it. And I'm like, I know. It's like, what's stopping you? I'm like, depression. People are gonna show up, and they're like, legit, but like, just fucking do it. And it's like, I mean, I don't know how to encapsulate it better than that. It just is. It is what it is.
Yeah.
If you know, you know, because I've seen the highs. I've been rated. I've had huge raids from people. I've had huge hype trains, not to brag.
Yeah.
I've met so many cool people. I talk to developers. Like I've had the opportunity. My small ass fucking channel has been in closed alpha where I've been able to dictate the way games have been designed.
Yeah.
So you would think having that experience and having that in my bag, I'd be like, click the button, it's easy.
Yeah.
It ain't always easy. Because streaming is performing. At its core, it's performance art.
Absolutely.
And it's like every Sunday you got to get up for the game, and some days you're not ready for the game.
Yep.
And that's okay. That's okay to not get up for the game. But, and this is kind of for myself as much as it is for everybody listening, you got to get off the bench sometime. And you got to suck.
Yep.
So that you can get back in shape, so that you can get back your mojo, whether it's dating or lifting or being a parent or crushing it at work or writing a novel or doing voices or whatever it is. You got to get off the bench. Because if you don't get off the bench, you can't play the game. You can't win. And I guess, that goes with all things, not just streaming.
Yeah.
And again, like we've been talking about, it comes back to your motivation, desire, your ambition, right? You got to want to do it for you. You could have all the day ones in the world. And trust me, I got some mad motherfucking day ones like you and Chris and Haba and Zim and Autumn. Like I get messages, what's up? I'm like, I don't feel it. And they're like, okay, you gonna do it tomorrow? I don't know. You gonna do it the next day? Fuck. They're pushing me. They're challenging me.
Yep.
And in some ways, I feel like I'm letting them down because they do subscribe. They do give their hard-earned money. I don't tell them to, but they choose to. And that's the other thing, too. A lot of people, when you stream, you don't want to pimp yourself, right? I hate pimping myself. Oh, buy my merch because I got fucking... My merch is fire, by the way. I'm not gonna lie. Y'all know. Y'all who know, you know. My merch is fire. But I don't pimp it because I don't want to be like, oh, But that's part of the game, though, too. But you got to find what works for you in streaming and in all things. If you're not the most bombastic or you're not good at shilling for yourself, you find people that will shill for you.
Yep.
Your real ones will be like, my boy don't want to tell you this, but he's a bad motherfucker. Like you, whenever I see you, I'm always like, that's tight and nasty. That ain't tight and naughty. That's tight and nasty. That's a bad man right there. Because you're not going to do it. Yeah, you'll post a video of you hitting a PR, but you're not going to be like, you're not going to be racking it.
Yeah.
You're just going to do the work. And then I'm going to be like, yo, that's a bad man right there. Right? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's just my take on it.
I agree. Yeah, I definitely like so there's a song I listen to by from Ashes to New. It's called My Life, I think. or my
Is it
name.
My Life or
No, it's
My
my
Name?
name.
Oh, okay.
And
Heartache is my big one.
yeah, I listened to that and Heartache are my two biggest ones. But My Life, the last two sentences in his verse are "You never truly lose, or you never lose if you don't learn from your defeats."
Yes,
So you
facts.
will never truly lose by learning from your defeats. And that's like the biggest mentality. Like that's my go-to now is just pushing through. You're never going to be defeated if you keep learning and keep getting better and keep doing everything to the best of your ability. You will never actually truly lose unless you give up.
Facts. Like, look at Cap getting his ass whooped by Thanos. What'd he say? I can do this all day.
Right.
You gotta have that mentality. You're gonna get your ass whooped every day. Every day. And if you don't get your ass whooped every day, you're doing something wrong.
Right.
You gotta take the ass whooping so you can whoop ass.
Yep.
You know, and that Ashes from the New song. That's in my rotation too. I love Ashes to the New. The other one that I get, Heartache, is really good. And then I listen to Citizen Soldier, Thank You for Hating Me.
Yep. That's in the rotation too.
Bro, dude, whenever I get down, I'm so mad. And then when I've been feeling depressed lately, I sent you that TikTok a while ago.
Yeah.
Where the dude's like, I can't rep the PR, and he's like, What? You're nothing but a bitch. And he's like, You can do this. You're doing it today. And I'm like, every time I get down, I watch that. It's like 30 seconds. It's just a dude being like, Are you a bitch? You're doing this, motherfucker. Let's go. And I'm like, beat my chest. I'm like, yeah, let's go.
We're doing it.
Let's do it. Go up there and go, just do it, Tari. Let's go right now.
Yeah, just like
Flex on them.
Just like Chris said, you got to take the punches. You got to get back up and take more of them because that means you get into the fight and you won't have a chance of winning if you don't get into the fight. Exactly. You never know. You miss 100%. You miss 100% of the shots you don't take. So.
Brick.
Brick.
No, you're right. Good.
All right. Well, we're coming in on 2 hours. This has honestly been a great talk. Do you have anything you'd like to close out with before we finish up here?
If I was to encapsulate everything and leave anybody who's out there listening to this or who sees this, whether it's on YouTube or Spotify or whatever you put this podcast on, by the way, you should put this on all the podcasts.
I'm gonna put it on YouTube.
Nice. Being an older guy in my 40s who's been down the road, to quote wrestling, been down the road a ways. The one thing I can tell you is life is going to suck more than it's going to be great. But when it's great, the suck is worth it. So yeah, you may be kicked, you may be feeling down today, but tomorrow, when you get that sip of tea or that girl smiles at you or you hit that new PR, all the suck's gonna fade away. So trust yourself, trust your friends, push your boundaries, and know that no matter what, you're not alone and it's gonna be all right. Even though it doesn't feel that way, it's gonna be all right. Trust me, I've been there. Lots. 9 major surgeries. I died twice on the operating table. I've been divorced twice. I lost everything. I'm still here. I'm in better shape, better mental health. I have better finances. I'm hotter than I ever been. But I had to go through the shit for it. And I had to get up off the mat a bunch of times. But I can do this all day. I can do this all day. And you guys can too. Titan can, Chris can, my boys can. Anybody who's struggling out there, you can do it. You just got to get to it. You got to suck it up, put the game face on, and go to work. Because if you don't, you don't know. You don't want to know you don't know what it's going to be like when you don't do it. And I'm going to tell you what, there's a lot of people out there rooting for you that you don't know or you don't hear right now. But they're there pulling, whether it's your kids, your besties, your family that you chose, whoever it is. They're there. Trust them. Trust yourself. That's my advice. I mean, I might be wrong, but that's just the way I look at it.
Good advice. I actually have. So speaking about that, seeing people can see you struggle. I actually have a quote here. It says, "Don't forget, while you're busy doubting yourself, someone else is admiring your strength." So no matter what you're going through, you could be at your lowest, but that could be someone's highest. Just think about it that way.
One person's trash is another person's treasure.
Yes, sir. All right, Docs. Well, I appreciate you coming on, man. Thank you for joining me for this first episode. I will get this edited and put on YouTube for everybody to watch, probably sometime this week. Yeah, but if
YouTube.com/TitanNaughty23.
if you guys would like to follow Docs Ryan, it's Docs Ryan on all of his socials, right?
Yep.
Nothing changed.
Yep.
Docs Ryan on
Because
all of his
branding's a
socials.
thing.
Branding's a thing. Other than that, Chad, if you don't have any other questions, or Doc, you don't have anything, I think we're good to go.
Nah, bro, I will say this before I leave. I'm proud of you, man. I saw when you went down. You know, we didn't talk much, but I checked in on you. I saw. I'm proud of where you're at, man. You're crushing it. You're crushing it streaming. You're crushing it physically. You're one of my boys. You're always gonna be my boy, and I'm super proud of you. Like you're gonna do whatever you need to do. I'm gonna tell you right now. Your other guests better bring their A game if they want to compete with old Doxy boy. Let's see it. But no, man, you're a great interview. You're a hell of a guy to talk to, and I appreciate you for everything you've done and who you are, man. You keep kicking ass, 100%.
Thank you. I appreciate it. Day one's for life.
Cat, you can do it. Don't say you can't, because Titan will come haunt your dreams. You don't want them big muscles in that PR showing up looking like a snack.
Drop 45s on your toes.
45s, that's going to be your new tagline. 45s on your toes. That's what I'm going to do every time I text you. I'm be like, who you putting 45s on today, bro? Put them 45s on them.
Oh, man. 45s on your toes, Chef. 45. I'm gonna get merch.
By the way, real quick, if I can plug something,
No,
Chris and I, Drunk Tank Podcast on all major platforms. We got 2 seasons. Chris and I are looking to get it back up and running. We had Titan on that show. He killed it as a guest. It's coming back. We're gonna start doing shots again. I'm gonna start recording the shots and sending them to Chris. And then Chris and I are gonna get together because he's still got the RSS feed. He's still doing it. Cool. We got to do something with it. But we are bringing the Drunk Tank back. Whether I got to drag his kilt wearing ass kicking and screaming. Drunk Tank, Motivational Mondays, Titan Naughty, Docs Ryan, and Chris EC. We got you.